Happy Monday! Welcome back to our Monday Talk, our ROG Talk. Welcome everybody. We have full house today. All my children, and it's not the novela, you know.
I used to like that one.
Right? We took a hooked in it like for 2 months only.
Wait, what?
You weren't paying attention, Charlie.
No, it's because me and Asa
So-
are having a different conversation.
So welcome everybody on Monday again. Hope everybody's having a beginning start of the week, and you guys had a great week last week. So many weeks, huh? Anyhow, well again, we're happy to be here. We have Cosita today with us.
Hello.
We have all the way from the city of the hood, city of the mountains, a flower boy, which is Asa. Then we got Charlie with us.
Hi.
We got our producer, Lily. We got our pastor, Carlos Reyes. What?
Liliane.
Liliane.
It's Lily.
Liliana.
Corrected. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
welcome
yeah, whatever.
everyone. We were doing so good until I'm hearing music now. Oh my gosh. So we try to be cool today. So welcome everybody. Oh my gosh. Parece que le suena breve.
¿A poco que dijeron?
We're not promoting portals, but
If they want to promote.
We
yeah,
accept
if you want
sponsorships.
sponsors, yeah, go for it. But we're
Canada
gonna
Dry.
Potato balls.
give a shout out to
Whatever this is.
brother Armando
Certified organic black tea.
Rojas. Armando Rojas, thank you for bringing portals yesterday. They're so delicious. Las empanaditas, Those empanaditas, oh my god.
Do the potato balls from that place.
Brianna, Pastor saying hi. So, yeah. So, again, welcome. We're going to talk about stuff, good stuff today. ¿Llegaban? Okay.
Kind of sounds like a Disney song.
Yeah, sorry, I got carried away with the song. See, that's what we're talking about. You can hear it online? Can you hear it online?
Let me see.
Not much. No.
Hi, Bree.
Hi, Bree.
So good.
What up, Bree?
That me up.
Yeah, so we're going to start talking about, how about Friday? Who remembers Friday's preaching?
Who preached?
Oh,
I don't
I know
know.
who preached.
Forgot who preached.
Danny
This
preached.
dude.
I know.
I think Pastor Danny preached.
Oh, Pastor Danny.
Oh,
No, I was not pastor.
our new pastor Danny.
Youth pastor.
Our new youth pastor Danny. We get she's in
Un
the chat.
aplauso.
¿Solo uno?
Yeah.
Sí, un aplauso. All right, so
Remember when you guys pranked me at the other church without it? Because they were like, and in my cell group, and everybody said, "Un aplauso," and I'm like, "Y todos." I'm like,
oh, mega aplauso.
You guys would do that at the meetings, huh? I remember at the meetings, I'll just be like in the corner and I'll hear uno aplauso and I'll hear a big.
And everybody's like, no.
That was funny.
So yeah, so Friday. What did I preach about on Friday?
Great question, dude.
I know you know, girl.
I know.
Oh, you always be taking notes.
Bro, Liddy always be bringing her iPad.
Hey, I can't take
Say.
notes.
you preached about people pleasing.
No.
Well, first of all, welcome everybody in the audience.
Ah!
We got some people here, some new people.
Hermana Luz.
We got Ellie Hat
My
over
beautiful
there.
wife.
We got Pastor on the side. We got Mallory on the side. We got Lydia on the side.
Hermano Cachucha.
We go over there, LA hat in the corner.
Hermano
Okay,
Cachucha.
Kevin. Brandon, thank you, Brandon, for getting everything together. And Lily. I saw Lily helping. Yes, Lily was helping. Yes. With the sound. Thank you.
Lily, don't do it.
And
Girl.
then,
Hermana Luz.
la hermana Luz.
Caballa.
Family walls here.
Yeah, las hermanas, la familia Paredes.
Never miss a
They're
day.
here.
That really does sound like a name.
It
It's
does.
tough, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
La familia
la hermana Rosita.
Desde Julipo.
La tapadera.
Uno de uno.
La tapadera. La hermana Rosita ahí está
Está
también.
escondido atrás de la tapadera.
Sí, ahí está, hermana. So, ya, la hermana Luz. Nunca falta la hermana Luz. Bien pendiente ella.
Tampoco
Una
la
plaza
familia-
para hermana
Bien.
Luz.
Tampoco la familia
Buena y
Paredes.
fiel
La
sirvienta.
familia Paredes tampoco nunca falta. Thank you for being here. What is his name? Hernan and hermano. Hermana y hermano.
Es Bree, acuérdate.
Yeah, period.
Bree is our neighbor.
Chicken
Oh.
is in the house.
We just had a little bird coming into the house.
No, chicken
Pollo.
Como
with
siempre corriendo al baño.
No, chicken with food going to the restroom like always.
So you guys are more than welcome to eat, people. You know,
Oh yeah, y'all want snacks?
yeah.
Can you pass me some of the peach, please?
Before they're
No me
gone.
Dani puso Brianna que hablaste de Young Rich Man.
Thank you, Bree. Yes, I talked about the young man, the rich man, and what else?
How he wouldn't leave it behind, and you wondered what you would do in that situation.
About letting
Right.
go.
Oh
There
yeah.
you go. But yeah, so you're right. That's
Yeah.
You talked about boyfriend.
I don't know what preaching you get here is.
I'm glad.
No,
you
he
remember,
did.
I'm glad you remember that part.
Ok, Dani, de la que tú predicaste,
Oh, that too.
que fue
What you preached about was
cuando Jesús le dijo,
when Jesus said,
vende todo lo que tienes.
"Leave everything you have."
Yeah.
How we were doing like,
Oh, we would have given everything.
Imagínate que Dios te
was
dijera,
it Matthew or Mark?
haz una cosa y vas a hacer.
Pastor was saying, imagine if God tells you, do one thing and you're gonna be saved.
Porque eso fue lo que le dijo Dios.
Because that's what God told him.
Eso es lo rico, ¿no?
Jesus told the young rich
Te
ruler.
dijera cosita,
Imagine he says,
solo te
"Cosita."
faltas una cosa
He says, you just lack one thing
para que tenga la salvación.
for you to have salvation.
Is that you going?
That's what he told them.
Deja Filomeno, no, no sé.
Leave Raul.
Oh, hey!
Por eso
The
no
head
tienes
comes
el nombre
and
yo,
they
hijo.
Leave the sheriff.
That's why we didn't say the
We
name.
don't need him.
Pero tú lo dijiste.
You literally
I'm
just...
translating.
Pastor never said a name.
Yes.
Me neither. Girl, me too.
Por eso dije Filomeno, hijo.
That's why we said
Well,
Philemon instead of Raul.
that's a curve, and I turned. Respiraba, pero
Cosita, si lo sabe Dios, que lo sepa todo el
God knows
mundo.
that
No.
everyone should know it.
Gloria a Dios.
No, there's somebody special watching this. There's somebody watching this.
No wonder Cosita see me. I wonder why Cosita sees me.
It is what it is.
So yeah, it was about the rich man. Thank you,
They
Pastor.
just came up here.
I don't know. He went somewhere else. I don't know what happened. Well, I didn't talk about.
It's because everyone wants to expose me, and I'm sitting here
I
like.
just threw like
I saw one
I said about boyfriend and girlfriends, and I said friends, I said cars, I said other things, not just boyfriend.
Wait,
No, que sí.
We're sheriffs, not sheriffs.
Hablé de amistades tóxicas. Not okay. Not just tóxicos and tóxicas. I said, talked about friendship because friends can be toxic.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, and that's what I talked about on Friday. Not boyfriends. I only mentioned boyfriend and girlfriend like, ooh, it was just there like, ooh. But it
See, that part
wasn't.
stuck to me.
I wonder why, huh?
And you don't want to be exposed.
You're over here exposing yourself.
It's okay.
Tenemos que tener un programa que se llama Exposed. Like,
Así invitamos a Chicken, invitamos a
Amen.
Cosita.
Wait.
We're gonna work at a
No,
show
no,
and
I
a
said wait,
program
I said wait.
exposed. Exposed, like
No, I said
expuestos.
wait.
You can put Lily because she hits Brandon.
We're gonna work
Oh, yeah.
on a show like that.
Get the story
Being exposed. I like that. And
Me and Chris Brown.
and have videos, you know, like show some videos. We got it on video, like
Vas
exposed.
vas como la hora, ¿cómo se llama que?
My dad, the judge, put in the ring.
No lo dije.
Yeah, you are yo.
Los aplausos.
Everyone's in a control today.
We should have like a skit like that, you know?
And have videos in the background, yeah.
A ver si tú echando cosas, lo digo bien libremente.
I like that. See, the ideas are flowing. It's coming out. You guys are out of control today. I don't know what's going on.
Really?
Maybe the weather.
Maybe we're trying to vibe with
I
it.
guess we,
Like a different vibe.
I guess we're trying to like,
Nothing new.
not for the sound of to. We're trying to ignore it, like
Dani, ¿quién será
No,
el
it's
primer
porque
guest?
the mics
fuera-
are
Who we
like.
got? My first guest.
¿O serían dos? Sí,
It's
¿verdad?
like that one, the red table thingy.
The red table talk?
Oh, yeah.
Mira, yo te aconsejo dos. Cosita y pollito. Híjole. La conexión
Lili
se
y
va.
mí porque no me
Los
saludó.
ratings.
Tú no te despidiste.
Listen,
Asa and Lily.
No se despidió de
You
mí.
guys will be the exposed.
She didn't say bye to me.
And she also hits Brandon.
Stay by
Not Brandon.
She makes me pass it off.
She hits chicken too.
And we're gonna check some phones too. So
We know.
Well,
Well, actually, thank
Let me see
God
your
I
text.
got me into the habit of like deleting things.
I can go into the trash and look for them. Just kidding.
This is the sex guy.
So yeah. So what else did I talk about Friday? Letting go. You said that, right?
Mhm.
So now let's bring it down to you guys. How do you guys see it on your guys' life? Like how would you apply it on you guys' life? What is the one thing that you can say that you can let go? Like that it's not gonna expose you or something that you can say, I can let go of this and I'm able to confess it, like, okay, I've been working on it, Danny,
I've been working on my anxiety. Trying to
Okay.
pump gas.
Yeah, true.
I know it's something very small, but I have trouble pumping gas. I really do.
¿Sabe la historia por qué, verdad?
She does.
You want to talk
¿Le robaron?
No, una pompa la atacó.
A gas pump attacked her once.
You know I like science fiction
Quería
movies.
ahorcarla.
No, the story was I was pumping gas on my way back to Sacramento, and I was scared. Okay, so I was pumping gas. I was very confident. Never once have I had an issue pumping gas. So once I went in, I was always taught, like, you know how when your gas tank is full, the clicky things like stops.
Yeah, you
Well,
do it again.
yeah, so a lot of people, like my parents always, I always saw my parents always worried over, but I never knew exactly why, so I always kind of out of costumbre, I did it. So when that happened, all the gas like fell out, and then the pump fell, and it was still like, the gas was falling, so I got like embarrassed, everybody was looking at me, so ever since then, I was scared to pump gas. I never want to pump gas
Tú
ever
me dices
again.
que se prendió un sello de la pompa y te quería quemar.
You told me that a match lit up and the gas pump almost lit up.
Wait a minute, wait.
Gasolina.
I'm just translating.
No,
No, you're
no.
not.
What does that have anything to do with the preaching?
The gas pump fell.
Y le empezó a corretear con un cerillo prendido.
Someone chased her with a match lit up.
Gaslighting you.
You're like,
No, es good one.
Mano Juan dice que va camino a Utah. Mano Juan, saludos. Maneja con cuidado, no se va a dormir.
No se va a dormir.
Eh? Yes, and Matthew, thank you, Bree, for responding. So we're not focusing over here. We're like going somewhere else over here.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So what is the one thing that you guys can let go? Anxiety?
The gas
Let go of
pump.
the gas pump.
Forgive the gas. Forgive him.
Le dijo
I'm working on it.
que, ¿no viste lo que dijo aquí el host? Digo el jefe.
Did you hear what the host said?
Pastor.
What did you say, President?
What is something you
Gas
can
is
say with
expensive.
confidence you're letting go
Gas is
related to the
How
preaching?
did you waste that much?
This is going so. What's going on? Like 4 something, yeah.
419, 410.
Where I go, it's like 460.
¿Qué estás trabajando?
Because I go to Chevron.
Chevron.
Chevron and La Chouche.
I don't go to Shell.
You know what Is it expensive over there or what?
Chevron is expensive.
Chevron's expensive.
But I don't go to Arco. I don't go to.
So he's just loyal to Shell? I mean,
What about you, Pastor? What's one thing that you need to like that you're working on?
imagine
Yo digo ya, la lista es too long.
about that.
Just one thing.
Just one thing out of that list.
Pues tengo muchas personas en la casa que tengo que dejar ir.
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
A ver,
Whoa.
I think
He almost just died right now.
You guys heard that?
Yeah. Is it Lily?
¿Es Lili? Lili es la que tiene que decir qué cosas quiere dejar ir. O que está trabajando, ¿no? Para arreglarlas o dejarlas así.
Yes. That you can say, que no te
like
comprometa.
I think it's like a deep dark secret. None of that. No, he's not. None of
like
that.
fear.
Huh?
I think sometimes everybody has a little bit of fear in them.
Alright.
No se quiere meter más deeper.
Like fear of the future, you're saying? Like what's gonna happen tomorrow, like my job, type of stuff, or what? Or like fear of
Fear
what?
my ministry.
Oh,
Que ya estamos agarrando algo.
Like fear.
of like
Fear of
failure.
like. No, not failure. More of like. I sometimes don't feel I'm as confident as I should be in my ministry. So like the fear.
Yeah, no, that's solid.
You know.
I think everyone gets that once in a while, right?
Yeah. That's what I think.
I mean, that's true. You're contributing. That's good.
Aleluya.
Grito de júbilo.
Mari, you don't want to look this way. What's going on? What's going
She's wishing to go.
That's one day. Let's go with the camera. Yeah. You know how?
Like flip the camera.
This is what we're talking about every Monday.
We need the cameraman from Maury. That fool chases
my
everyone.
gosh. Okay, what about you, Charlie? ¿De qué estamos hablando? One thing that you want to go.
O pregunta de la audiencia, algo que quiera también.
Yo eres mi rey.
El pollo.
Well, Charlie gets a thought. Anybody in the audience what is it that you can let go, that you have to let go, or stopping you to get closer to God, that you can speak up about, like
Tú sabes que tienes que.
that you know that you have to let go. Audience, oh my gosh, Charlie.
Well,
About like worry or like fear of the future.
yeah,
Because you're in high school, right? Like you might not know what to study.
I remember I talked to my dad about this in Texas about like the future and everything. He just told me like just enjoy the ride, you know. And like after what happened on Friday, I could finally like just relax.
Was it stopping you to get closer to God? And
No, it was just like an anxiety I had, you know.
all right, Asa.
Probably like worry same thing like of the future, but in terms of like a career. Or like how am I gonna live on my own when it comes time to like as much as I might not vocalize it, I do kind of get anxious about like classes or like transferring because I was applying to universities.
Is that stopping you to get closer to God?
I think in a sense, yeah. Like as much as I want to say no, it's not. If I get that worry or that anxiety, it kind of interferes with my trust in God because it's not a total trust at that point. And I'm not proud of it either, but I'm not ashamed to say I get that worry because I would hide that type of stuff. But if I'm gonna be completely honest, I think many of us get that, right? Especially like a college student, someone who's young and not necessarily in high school, right? You reach a point where you're thinking, okay, I'm a young adult. I'm gonna need to live on my own. I'm gonna need to, like Pastor was saying, find a spouse eventually. All these things, like settling down. How are you gonna trust God with that?
Okay. So what are you said it already? Huh?
Yeah, well, if I can add on to one thing that actually overcame, right, is that I was scared because in the position that I was back in February, I was scared, like, how am I going to move forward? I didn't have a job. My car was broken down, you know. And one thing that was really, like, that kind of, Pastor kind of always told us is, confía en Dios, you know, trust God, trust the process, you know. And which I did, and now I'm in a lot better place than you know what I mean? So how would, yeah, so how would I put that in, like, one simple word is, like, fear of uncertainty, I guess you could say. Yeah, worry, yeah.
Oh, and trusting God, like you didn't. It's not that you didn't trust God, but maybe
Like doubt.
doubting.
Maybe.
Could
Going
be.
to doubt.
Maybe it's like your instability,
That's what I'm scared of, like, you know.
financial, spiritual, emotional, that type of thing.
Okay.
So now we're working.
There's more.
now,
There's more.
So now we're letting go of those things now. Everybody,
Yes,
you
sir.
guys want to share something?
I think Valerie said she has something.
Mallory, you want to share something, Mal?
I think mine would be like settling, like to never like settle or to be still, like or to like, you know, sometimes when you settle, you like have ideas or you. Mine this year is like I told God for sure, like is to not limit myself because God is not a limitable God. So mine is definitely settling. I think oftentimes we settle with like, I'll just stay right here, like I'm okay just doing this. But you know, one thing God is telling me is like, you know, like oftentimes when we limit ourselves, we limit God. And I just really truly feel like I don't want to like to not ever settle again, or like in anything. To always try to take a bigger step with God. You know, He's not telling you to take that biggest step, but like not be afraid to like want more or to seek more or to, you know, that's definitely mine.
Seek what you deserve, you know,
Yeah,
because we tend to want little because we feel like we
Yeah,
deserve little when in
exactly.
reality we deserve bigger.
You don't want to undersell yourself.
Mine is definitely not settling ever.
Okay. So now,
Catch me next year.
oh, so now that we kind of, what, do you want to say something? Right. Now that we're letting, but you let go of some things, right?
Yeah.
And you're working on it. So sound system, we're letting things go. Like we're working on something. Everybody's working on something.
Okay,
Letting
Pastor.
something go.
What
No.
about you, Pastor?
Okay, so that tells me then that we're gonna be doing better now.
Yes. Period.
Because I asked what's stopping you to get closer to God and make an impact. So now we're all talking about something that we're letting go. That means we were here, so now we're supposed to be here.
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to, get there. You know.
Mental health check. That's it.
And it's important to make that conscious effort to get rid of it and not just say like this is my problem and then just stay in it.
And just let it go.
Yeah. Right. So
I mean,
work at it every day.
It's just exactly. Thank you. Even if you can't, if you don't believe it's gonna happen, you have to believe it's gonna happen.
Yes.
You know, just like speaking to existence. Yeah, like I'm gonna be a great person. I'm gonna finish school or I'm gonna get the job like you. You doubted about it, but Pastora gave you a lot of courage, and you declared it. Now look at you now, girl. You're in it. So.
You're giving all these compliments.
Oh.
Ready to get married?
Ya, te vas a casar.
Lista para casarte vos.
Season of marriage.
Cancelo.
We declare
Si
that
regreso. Ah, no. Actually, if anybody out there knows a cop was about 6'2", and you know, send him out.
No, actually, we declare that today. Now. And a meal, a dinner prayer.
We prayed when I made this. We prayed for him.
Can you edit that out, please?
You let go of the man, girl. It was right in front of you. You let it go.
Yeah, you let him walk.
Nah, you're
No, I didn't.
You let him go because he was going to get in between you and God.
Yeah, I didn't know.
You sacrificed.
He was like, what was going on? He gave you guys that what? Okay, like
It's because
I'm
I
here,
blame
talk to
Gabby.
me.
I don't.
Why Gabby? She's not even here.
You should have been like, oh, excuse me, what? You know.
No, were they talking? Sorry, it's because
There you go.
I actually went back. I believe on Friday, but he wasn't there.
I dropped my Bible.
You're
Hubiera puesto un velo, hija.
Should have put on a veil.
But I feel
Why
clean
does
it.
this always turn into
A cat
Right,
session?
and to her, like, we're always like leaned that way, like, ooh.
It's because we're giving Lily a break.
Oh,
Es que ella se quiere casar por eso.
so yeah. So now we're gonna move forward then.
Yes.
Ahí te mandó un texto, Juanito.
Ya.
First
And
Samuel
then
15:35.
compare lo que le dije ayer. Yes,
Comparte.
Juan, he gave me a verse that he kind of just said that God talked to him about letting go, and he was talking about how Saul let go of Samuel, or
It says First Samuel 15:35. I'll pull it up right now.
pull it up. Yeah, he said about letting go, and that was a good example. Sí, mano Juan, sí me acuerdo que me dijo eso, de que fue cuando dejó ir a.
Until the day Samuel died, he did not go to see Saul again, although Samuel mourned for him, and the Lord regretted that he had made Saul king over Israel.
You guys know who Samuel was?
Yeah, prophet.
You guys know who Saul was?
King Saul.
My dad.
Saul, your dad.
Ese no, not that one.
Myron's friend.
Ah, el
Oh,
cachetón. El chico.
El Chico.
So yeah, so Pat,
The
so,
cheeky.
Saul. Yes.
so hermano Juan was telling me about that. He read that verse and then I preached about it, and it was about letting go. Samuel had to let go of Saul. You know, even though, and that's a good example because I don't want to say it, but Juan said it. I was supposed to Juan. Juan said it. Sí, hermana, que se mueva. And Pastor Juan said que. Excuse me. Thank you. I can't concentrate. Like I'm trying to like get my point across, and man, they're on it.
Yo
Gloria a Dios, pero.
They keep
Yo
going.
siento que Dios no ha terminado, hermanos.
Let me communicate so you can finish.
Porque
Hey, girl.
ahorita, como
Oh
te
my
dije,
God.
It's good.
Oh, nervous. So, sí, hermano Juan, está bien lo que dijo, porque sometimes we need to let go of friends, and like he appointed King Saul, and he had to let him go. Sometimes like even people closest to us, if they're not doing good to us, do not deceive yourself and stop praying to God saying, this is for me, this is for me. You know it's not for you, let it go. Period. End of the story. You know, like, and Juan, hermano Juan, thank you. You know, es que no digo nada because then they're like, oh, Danny, you always say stuff like that, but it's true. Am I lying, Pastor? Siempre pasa. Siempre pasa. It always happens. And then I want this, I want this. want to get this car, like the example that I said, and boom,
The super.
ahí estás.
R.I.P. that super.
That's why before you make a decision and get into something, make sure it's guided by God. Because if it's not guided by God, then you're gonna be crying later on, saying, "I can't afford it. I can't pay this. I can't get out of this. How do I get out of this compromise?" That's why you have to, be careful before you commit yourself into something that you're not gonna be able to get through it. Amen.
También hablaste ¿te acuerdas del hermano que quería un carro, que era muy
Sí,
caro?
sí.
You remember the brother wanted a car very badly.
Yeah, es lo mismo que, going back to, it could be whatever, it could be a job. Oh, that's the job that I wanted. But sometimes it's not, it's not what it's not what it is.
It's not what God has for you.
Yeah, exactly. Como dicen, a veces el oro, no todo lo que brilla es oro.
Oh yeah.
Not everything that shines is gold, so you have to be careful and stop going to the things that, I want. But say, is God gonna use me in this area? Always include God in the things that you're gonna be doing. Like my pastora, she got the career being a nurse, and it has not interfered on her way. She's helping God, and look at her now. She's got a Monday to Friday. You must say, well, nurses have a messed up schedule. She went through her process, and now she's coming Monday to Friday, and I'm sure there's a lot of prayer involved and stuff like that.
Shut the sucker was only 15 minutes after, but it's okay.
No, but just be careful. The decisions that we make at times, we think it's that's what I want, or she's the one that I want, he's the one that I want. But is that what God wants me? Is that the one God has for me?
Yeah.
I don't want to expose people, but someone asked me one time. Someone asked me, ahorita que está el pastor aquí me lo vas a contestar, Carlos. Someone that's married, con ya tiene, experiencia así. Me dijo una persona
Someone told me
que si Dios tiene que decidir por nosotros siempre.
they asked does God always have to decide for us?
Dice que nosotros no tenemos que decidir con la persona que nos vamos a quedar.
So does that mean we don't decide the person we end up marrying?
So, yo le dije, yo tengo mi perspectiva,
So I responded, I have my perspective,
pero para algo más así,
but for something more along the
ahí
lines
están los
of,
pastores.
ask the pastors.
Porque si no,
Because if not,
te me echan encima.
you guys are gonna
So,
dogpile on top of me.
¿tú qué respuesta le darías a esa persona?
What would you say is the response?
Si Dios siempre
If God-
escoge la persona con la que te vas a
If
quedar.
God always chooses the person you're gonna end up with,
Es la pregunta.
that's the question.
Me dijo que
They asked me,
que nosotros también podemos escoger a la persona con la que
they
queremos
asked, can
estar.
we also pick who we're gonna end up marrying?
O Dios siempre nos va a escoger la
Or is God
persona.
always gonna pick the person for us?
No, nosotros escogemos,
We choose,
pero
but
tiene que ser algo que...
it has to be something.
no puedo poner eso.
How
Tú
can I say?
escoges,
You
pero
choose,
Dios te dice quién.
but God tells you who.
So,
Sí, o sea,
So
Dios no te dice la que ponga de negro esa va a ser, no.
God doesn't say whoever I put, here is the person.
Tú vas a ver
We'll see,
y tú vas a sentir
and you're gonna feel
esa conexión,
that connection,
no física,
not physically,
una conexión que
a connection that
especial de parte de Dios.
is special from God.
So, cuando no sientas eso,
So when you don't feel
no
that,
es de Dios.
it's not from God.
Es tú haces un clic especial.
You make a special click, if you will.
Tienes que estar
You have to be
buscando algo de parte de Dios.
You have to be seeking
Conectado con
something
Dios.
from God in
Sí,
particular.
haber hablado con Dios.
You
No
have
que
to have
quiero unas
spoken to
ojos
God.
verdes, no. O sea,
You can't
sino
say I
es
want a blue-eyed, I want a
una
green-eyed.
persona que sabes que te va a cuidar y que ama a Dios.
You have to know it's someone who will look after you and someone who loves God as well.
Y lógico,
And logically
cuando
speaking,
llegue la persona te tiene que gustar.
when the person arrives, you have to like them.
Que al hombre
Okay.
le tiene que gustar físicamente también la persona.
You have to like that person physically as well.
Y vuelvo a lo que hace
And I return to what I've said before.
testimonio que hace muchos años
This testimony of many years ago,
de que había un joven
there was a
que
young man
se quería casar
and he wanted to marry
y estaba orando
and he was praying
y tenía una muchacha que iba a la
and
iglesia
there was a young girl who was coming to church,
normal,
normal lady,
le gustaba.
and they liked each
Había
other.
otra muchacha que cantaba en el praise team.
And there was another young lady who sang on the praise
¿Sí
team.
sabes el testimonio?
You know the testimony, more or less?
Nunca lo he visto lo que
You
es.
never heard it?
I heard it.
Y la muchacha era
And the young lady,
no estaba tan agraciada
she wasn't so full of grace.
y estaba así medio
And he was very,
comió mucha pizza como estaba chiquita.
she ate a lot of pizza from a young age.
Entonces,
So
él le gustaba la otra muchacha,
he liked the other girl,
pero cuando estaba orando,
but when he was praying,
dijo, Señor,
he said, Lord,
dame una señal.
give me a sign.
Y oyó a la muchacha cantar,
And he heard the young girl singing, the young
porque
lady,
cantaba en el praise team.
because she sang on the praise team.
Y dijo, oh, esta es la señal.
And he said, this is the
No,
sign.
esa no es la señal.
That's not the sign.
Ella cantaba en el praise team.
She sang on the praise team,
So,
simply.
la iba a oír
So of
cantando.
course he was going to hear her sing.
Y se casó con ella.
And he married her.
Y cuando estaban, tú sabes, allá, pues bien entraditos
You
en
know,
su luna de miel.
and when they were on their honeymoon, getting
Cuando
it
miró
on,
cómo era,
you know the way it went,
le empezó a decir,
he started to say,
cántame, mija, ¿no?
oh, sing to me, please.
Para que se acordara de que
So
era
that he
señal.
would remember
Oh, that's me.
why he liked
No, o
her.
sea, por eso uno tiene que tener cuidado.
That's why you have to be careful.
¿Ya what?
Como
Like a
la
little
mermaid.
mermaid.
Como la sirenita. dice.
No.
Pero ella no pudo cantar
Yeah,
ya.
because he only heard her voice.
So,
Oh, the mermaid.
so, la moraleja,
So
el consejo
the moral of the story
es de que tienes que pedir a Dios.
is that you have to
si lo
ask
quieres.
God.
Y lógico, si es una persona
And logically speaking, if it's a
que
person,
esté conectado también en lo que tú estás conectado.
they should be connected to the same thing you're connected to.
¿Cuántas personas se han enamorado de otra persona
How
que
many
no está en la
people have
iglesia?
fallen in
O
love
que
with
está en
someone who's
otra
not in
iglesia.
church or who's at another church?
Tiene su ministerio
They have their ministry,
y lo dejas por seguir a Dios.
and you leave that behind
O al
to follow
esposo.
them, or you leave,
Y el esposo no tiene ganas de seguir ningún ministerio.
or let's say the husband has no desire to follow a ministry.
Cantas como los ángeles.
You sing
como
like
los
the
ángeles.
angels, perhaps,
Y el esposo no quiere nada de música.
and the husband wants nothing to do with music.
Y dice, no, no, mija, no vas a cantar.
And he says, no, you're not gonna
Y tú
sing.
por amor a la
You,
persona,
out of supposed love,
dejas tu ministerio.
you leave your ministry
¿Tú
behind.
crees que es de parte de Dios?
Do you think that's from God?
O sea, tienes que entender
So you have
las
to
cosas.
understand things
Que se
properly.
complementen en el
They
ministerio.
have to complement each other.
En un noviazgo vas a saber si se complementan. o
When
no.
you date, you will find,
En el
or you will
noviazgo,
realize if you complement each other.
El noviazgo la persona tiene que relucir más.
While dating, that person has to shine a little
Si
more.
en el noviazgo
If in dating,
la otra pareja te está opacando,
the other person is dimming your light,
te está marchitando,
they are just blocking you,
¿para qué estás ahí?
why are you there?
¿No?
Right?
Entonces ahí es donde tienes que pedir a Dios.
So
Ya.
that's where you have to ask God for more.
Hey.
Yeah.
Pues me preguntaron y yo respondí.
Hey, Cap, hey,
And
Cap.
it wasn't you because you know it wasn't you. You didn't ask me that. No, that's why it was safe to ask. It was safe to let go, you know, that's the question. So yeah, thank you, Pastor. Es por eso que, that's why I wanted to ask that question, you know, because some
That's a
people,
really good answer.
some people get stuck in what I want. Some people get stuck in
The voice.
this is what I want, you know. Oh, I like the person. Pero ya el pastor lo dijo con sus palabras. and
Like
I
Pastor
guess
said
that's-
in his words.
That's a wise advice, right? It rhymed.
Yeah.
It's a wise advice the pastor could give you. That yes, you can choose, but it's the person that God has for you.
Amen.
Damn.
No comments.
Because you have to be connected with God. If you're not connected with God, then another thing what I say, y creo que también todos saben eso. Todo lo que no está, que lo que mal empieza, mal termina.
Yeah.
You
Pero
know,
la Biblia te dice que no te unas a yugo desigual.
Even the Bible says you shall not be unequally yoked.
Que tiene que ver un hijo de la luz a un hijo de las
That there should be a son of light and a
o
daughter of light.
or it could be like for example, mine. A lot of people know my story. You know, I was engaged to a pastor's daughter, and if you know the story, it didn't work. You know, and it didn't work. So it was an uneven yoke, and I knew some stuff that I was playing ignorant and I'm playing like I'm here, I can't see, and I kind of let it go, but it came back to haunt me later when I could have just let it go and start from scratch with a new person. I mean, it came back, you know, so. And because it didn't start, it started good, but then little things started finding out that I tried to brush it up, like, oh no, everything's gonna be okay, everything's gonna be okay. Once we get married, everything's gonna be okay. No, thank God it happened the way it happened. You know, it hurt, pero here I is. I got up and no me tumbó.
Me la agarré.
If it doesn't kill me, make me stronger. So, yeah. Yeah. ¿De qué quieres hablar del domingo? Porque tenemos 20 minutes.
Del domingo rapidito.
Yeah, so about Sunday.
Quedamos el domingo. ¿Qué
What do we talk about on Sunday? Times and changes.
About God's times and our time.
Yes. About
The
Chronos.
Kairos and the
Yeah,
Chronos.
Kairos and Chronos.
I was in the back and I was listening to the
Due to
preaching,
COVID, I wasn't here.
No, por trabajo.
Yeah.
Because of your job.
So, hablamos de Eclesiastes.
We talked about
3:1,
Ecclesiastes 3:1,
que todo tiene su
that
tiempo.
everything has a time, its time.
Todo lo que está debajo del sol tiene su hora.
Everything under the heavens has
That
its
change
time.
is inevitable.
El cambio es
Change
inevitable.
is inevitable,
I know.
Y ese es un principio, ¿eh?
and that's a principle.
El cambio es inevitable.
Change is
Cuando
inevitable.
uno era joven,
When we were young,
ya no es igual cuando uno es más viejito.
you didn't unite with those who were
Uno
older.
quisiera, pero
You would like to,
el
but
cambio es inevitable.
change is inevitable.
Todo lo que está vivo y aún lo que no está vivo va a cambiar.
Everything that is living and non-living will come to change.
Period. No hay
Period.
vuelta de hoja.
There is no going around it.
¿Ok? Entonces todo cambia.
So everything changes.
La misma creación cambia.
Even creation itself changes.
Todo propósito bajo el cielo tiene su tiempo.
Every purpose has its own time.
Esa
and
parte me
change.
gustó. O sea, tienes un proceso de Dios.
Say you have a process from God,
Tiene un comienzo
you have a beginning,
y tiene un fin.
and it has an end.
Siempre.
Always.
Si no tiene un fin,
If it doesn't have an end,
entonces no estás en el tiempo de Dios.
then you're not in God's timing.
Estás en tu propio tiempo.
You're in your own timing.
Y puedes quedar de toda tu vida
You can last your whole life
en ese proceso.
in that one process
Porque es tu tiempo.
because it's your timing.
No, el tiempo de Dios tiene un tiempo.
God's timing has a timing.
Empieza aquí y se acaba aquí.
It starts here, it ends here.
El tiempo de nosotros no tiene
But
un tiempo.
our timing has no
Tiene un
limit.
tiempo como empieza,
You know when the time
pero no tiene un
begins,
tiempo como termina.
there should be an end time
¿Por qué
too.
digo esto?
Why do I say
Porque nuestra
this?
vida es muy corta.
Because life is very short.
De repente un accidente y te mueres con tu proceso.
Suddenly an accident happens and you stay stuck in your process.
Pero con Dios es diferente.
But with God it's different.
Por eso tenemos que estar conectados.
That's why we should be connected.
¿Para qué?
For what?
Para cuando hay una nueva temporada
So that when there is a new season,
podamos entender que
we may understand it
y nos metamos al tiempo.
and we may enter into God's timing
So, de eso
appropriately.
más o menos
Great
hablamos, ¿no?
preaching.
So that's more or less what we gave.
Eso hablamos.
That's what we discussed.
Pregúntale cuál es el tiempo de Dios, ¿cómo se llama? ¿Se acuerda?
What is God's timing
Hay
called?
tiempo de casarte,
There is a time to marry,
Amen.
o hay tiempo de que a lo mejor no hay nadie,
or
¿verdad?
maybe
Right,
there's nobody
amen.
there.
Pero va a llegar una etapa donde va a haber muchos.
But a season will come where there are many,
Y ahí tendrás que saber cómo elegir.
and then you won't have to know how to choose and pick.
¿Qué es en la etapa de donde no hay nadie?
A ver,
Hazle, ¿qué es en la etapa de cuando no hay nadie?
What about that season where there's nobody?
Panchita se desespera
Someone says, "Oh, just wait,"
y Panchita empieza a buscar en otro lado.
and this certain person starts to look somewhere else instead of
Can
waiting.
God bless something like that? You
es
know?
lo que te iba a preguntar. ¿Tú qué
That's what I was
piensas?
about to ask. What do you think?
Te agarré, ¿sabes?
You know what? Yes. Oh, stop. So then here's okay. In my situation, I'm very lucky to say that.
Tengo muchos de montones.
No.
Wow.
No. Okay. What was the question? I kind of lost my train of thought real quick.
Can God bless
God
something
bless
where you're
find
looking for
somebody
something
else.
when
Okay.
it's not the time?
Sí lo puede bendecir
God can bless
si
you
están en la voluntad de Dios.
if you are in the will of God.
Como lo que hablé hace rato.
Like I
Yes.
spoke about earlier,
Que puedes venir alguien de otra iglesia,
that someone else can come from
pero
a different
tienen que
church,
estar conectados en
but
el
they
mismo yugo.
have to be connected just like you are.
Porque si es desigual,
Because if it's unequal,
van a batallar.
Yeah.
you will struggle.
Y es lo que te decía. And I was going to say that earlier because, and I lost my train of thought as well.
Yeah.
Porque Aki said because she was Christian and because she's a pastor's daughter, you could have said, oh, we're equally yoked. Not because someone's Christian and someone, it's a praise team, I'm going to expose myself, worship leader or a youth pastor. That doesn't mean like I'm equally yoked with somebody else. You get me? Not because I know like Lily, Lily and I would come to church and stuff and maybe we're not equally yoked, And same with Cosita, same with Lydia.
Okay, but
Nosotros already married, but
so you guys are talking about
La audiencia
unequally
tiene una
yoked.
pregunta.
Wait, I have a question, Pastor. Okay, so this is a real serious question. So,
It's
okay,
okay.
obviously it doesn't matter if you guys are both Christian, same church, not same church. So you would be able to tell from like how it is, right? Like if it's not prosperous, or like how would you be able to tell?
En el noviazgo.
In the dating life,
Like if it's always back and forth.
En el
or always,
noviazgo,
like,
tú te vas a
one
dar
time
cuenta.
good,
in the
one
dating
time
life,
no?
you will
Tú
come
te
to
vas a dar
see.
cuenta en el noviazgo
You will see in dating
si la persona tiene el mismo llamado que tú
if the person has the same calling as you do,
y se complementan.
and you complement each other.
Yeah.
Si no se complementan,
If you don't complement
tienes
each
una
other,
vida difícil,
you live a difficult life.
be my guest. Si quieres hacerlo, métete ahí.
You know, if you want to do
Yo no
it,
te lo aconsejo.
I don't recommend you do it if
Si
that's the
tienen
case.
la misma visión
If you have the same
y
vision,
tienen se complementan uno al otro,
when you complement each other,
es la persona para ti.
that's the person for you.
But sorry to interrupt your thing.
No sé si te respondí.
I don't know if that responded. I don't know if that was a good response to you.
¿Sí? No.
Did that answer
¿O
your
qué es lo que
question?
piensas tú?
Or what is it that you think?
No tiene sentido, entonces, para ti, ¿qué tiene sentido?
What makes sense to you?
O sea, que no entendió lo que le dijiste.
Yeah, because I get what you're saying, like if they compliment you in the same ministry, same thing, but
Okay.
like
Un ejemplo.
I think
For
oftentimes
example.
we get that confused. Like
Vamos a un ejemplo. Tú tienes un llamado
Let's give an example. You have a calling,
y te gusta un
and you like
panchito
you like
de la iglesia enseguida.
a guy from the next church, let's
Entonces
say,
dices sí.
and you say this is
Pero
the one,
él no quiere ese llamado.
but he doesn't want that calling.
Pero tú te enamoraste.
But you fell in love.
¿Vas a dejar tu llamado?
Will you leave your calling?
Tú vas a tener que escoger.
You'll have to pick.
¿Dejas el llamado para seguir a la
You leave the
persona?
calling to pursue the
¿O
person,
dices, esto no es para mí?
or do you say this is not for me?
Prefiero seguir el llamado de Dios.
I'd rather follow the
Entonces tú
calling of
tienes
God.
que escoger
So you have to choose
qué es lo que quieres hacer.
what you want to
Pero
do.
tú sabes bendecir los dos o no.
Dios te va a bendecir.
God will bless
Pero
you.
yo conozco muchas
I know many,
hermanas ya mayores
many older
que
sisters
tienen tremendos dones,
who have incredible
pero
gifts,
por el esposo
but as for the husband,
apagaron sus dones.
they dimmed their light,
Los
their
dejaron
gifts.
a un lado.
They left them to the side,
Cantan tremendo,
and they're tremendous gifts,
pero no lo están haciendo.
but they left it
Porque el esposo no tiene
because their
la
husband
misma visión.
doesn't have that
Y
same
no viven
vision,
infelices,
and they don't live unhappily.
viven felices,
They live happily.
pero no hay un
but it's like they never got to fulfill like what
exacto,
God
They're
el
full
llamado que Dios tenía para ellos.
That's my fear.
So, tú eres el que va, tú eres la que va a escoger.
So you're the one that gets
No
to
hay una
choose.
maldición en eso.
There is no curse in that,
No más que el llamado que Dios tenía se lo va a dar para ti, se
but
lo
the
va a dar a
calling
alguien
that
más.
God had for you will go to someone
¿Por qué?
else. Why?
Porque al final
Because
el propósito de Dios se va a
ultimately
cumplir.
the purpose was not fulfilled.
Contigo
With you,
o sin mí,
without
o
you,
Dios va a traer a alguien.
God will bring somebody.
¿Sí me entiendes?
You get me?
That's tough.
So, en eso, como un ejemplo que.
So for example,
Yo escojo a un esposo
let's say I choose a husband
que no tiene la misma visión
who
que
doesn't
yo.
have the same vision I do.
So, todo lo que Dios tiene para
So
mí,
everything that God has for me
ya no lo voy a tener porque.
will no longer
No,
be
tú
for
lo
me.
tienes,
Yes, you
No
have
lo voy a
it,
cumplir.
pero tú
But I
tienes
won't
que
fulfill it.
escoger.
but you
Y
have
ahí
to
escogí
choose.
mi esposo
Ok.
y no lo cumplí.
Let's say I choose the husband, I don't
Lo
choose
que
that.
yo tenía
What I had,
se puede ir
can it go
con mis hijos
to my children?
Si Dios lo quiere,
If God
o
wills
se
it,
va completamente de
no.
mi generación.
Si Dios lo quiere
if God wants it,
y tus hijos lo pueden percibir y
and your children
discernir,
can perceive it and discern it,
Dios se lo puede dar a ellos.
God can give it to them.
Mira,
Look,
yo no quería un pastorado.
I didn't want to be a
Y yo
pastor,
conozco amigos míos que
and I
estaban
know
cerca
friends of mine
que si
who
lo
were
querían.
close, and they did want it.
y Dios me dijo, se lo voy a dar al que no lo quiere.
And they said, I'm going to give it to the one who doesn't want
Dije,
it.
ok, pues yo tengo que echar ganas.
And I said, okay, I got to put in the
Así
effort.
es Dios.
But that's how God is.
Si tus hijos lo desean,
If your kids desire it,
Dios se lo va a dar.
God will give it to them.
No va a caer una maldición sobre
There will
ellos.
be no curse over them.
Pero si, un ejemplo,
But
un
for
don
example,
natural,
a gift, a natural
tú
gift,
cantas.
you sing.
A tus hijos
For your children,
puede que ese don también lo siga.
it's possible they
Que
pursue that as
puedan
well.
cantar.
They may sing as
El
well.
problema que a veces hay en las
The
mamás,
problem we find sometimes in
lo que tú no
mothers
pudiste hacer,
is that what you can do,
lo que tú no pudiste hacer,
what you could not
vas
do,
a querer que tus hijos lo
you
hagan.
will want your children
Y
to
a veces
aspire
tus hijos no
to.
quieren ese
And
llamado.
oftentimes your kids
Yeah.
don't
Y
want
donde
that
hay una
calling.
frustración,
And that's where frustration
más
comes in,
problemas, pero
more
eso es
problems
otra clase de
arise,
esa, ¿verdad?
things of the sort.
Yeah, I think don't get it wrong, but I mean, he might not have the same vision as you, but as long as he has a willing heart and he's willing to like, hey, whatever you want to do, I'll support you. I'll go with you. So that can help your ministry, and little by little he'll fall in love with your vision. So it all depends on the other person, what kind of heart they have. Do they have a flexible heart where they want to learn more and want to be molded, or do they say, no, this is me right here, no one's moving me from here. So it all depends on the personality, the attitude that they have. Because even though they don't have the same vision, they can fall in love with the vision that you have. Learning about it, talking about it, they can learn to love it and support you, and in the way you're going to bring them through. Because my husband had that leadership, role that I wasn't too interested in, but I was there to support him. Hey, I'll help you out, whatever you need. And little by little, it sucked me in. So it all depends on the person
Pero
too.
otro es diferente.
But for us,
Porque
it's different because
cuando estábamos en Los Ángeles,
when we were in LA,
el pastor dijo todas las cosas que quería que hiciéramos.
the
Yo dije
pastor
no.
said everything they wanted us to do, and I said no.
Yo dije una o tal vez dos.
I said maybe one or two.
Y tú dijiste, no, mijo, sí podemos.
And you said no, we can't do
That was
it.
their,
Ahí
that
me
was their
aventó ella a mí.
calling, and I was there to support it. Let's do it.
Y yo nomás quería hacer una o dos cosas.
And I just
No,
wanted to
sí
do one or
podemos
two of
hacer
those
las
things.
Let's see.
And she said no, let's do all 16.
Pero ella tenía ese
But it all
liderazgo
depends
dentro
on
de
the
ella.
person that has that.
Pero tú ya lo
open
tenías.
heart.
But you
Tú
already
eras
had that.
presidenta con los donde regresamos.
You were already a president at the church
O sea,
where we
ella
were
lo
in.
tenía, ella tenía una noción de
So
lo que era.
she had the notion
Ahora,
of what
sí
it
puede
was.
pasar como en mi esposa.
Now it can happen in the case of my wife and I,
Pero es muy difícil.
but
a
it's
veces.
very
Yeah.
difficult for that.
Pero
to-
sí puede pasar.
But it's possible.
Te
It
digo
can
porque
happen.
yo conozco personas,
I tell you, I know people,
más personas
more people,
que no han podido desarrollar
who have
ese
not been able to
ministerio.
develop that,
Y muy pocas que sí lo han podido
and very
desarrollar.
few who have managed to develop
Pero al
it.
final,
Ultimately,
la joven y el joven son los que escogen
the young man and the young lady are the ones who choose,
y deciden,
and
you know.
and they decide.
That actually answered my question. Yeah, because I was like, that actually made me cry too. Because I was like, what if, you know, unfortunately my time with my old person, you know, we broke up, whatever the case may be, but it wasn't for a bad reason at all. He was actually a really good guy. But I was going through my whole situation, so we broke it off. So I was going to say, like, can God bless a relationship that wasn't formed in church? You know what I mean? So that's what I was just saying, like, how basically as long as they have a willing heart, you know, as long as they're wanting that change, as long as they're wanting to be closer to God, you know, it will be blessed. And that was what I was gonna ask you. Can God bless a relationship that wasn't formed, even though we're not together? Can God still bless a relationship if we start from zero in church?
A ver, si la persona no conoce de Dios,
So the person doesn't know of God,
o cómo era.
or what is it you're
Una
asking?
pareja que venga de afuera,
Say a couple that comes from the outside, the
sí,
world.
Dios puede cambiar un matrimonio.
God can change a marriage, of course.
Puede
You,
cambiar una
you were talking
relación.
about yourself? Or
Yeah.
los que conoce a Dios?
Y la persona con la que estabas no conocía.
So the person you were with did not know of God.
Entonces no terminaron bien, ¿verdad?
So God didn't. That didn't end very well.
Sí terminaron bien.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
Pero ya terminaron.
But you guys
but
finished
let's say que
or ended.
sigan juntos, will God bless that relationship?
Sí, sí, ahora,
Now
siempre hay consecuencias en todo.
there are always consequences in everything,
En todo. Y uno tiene que estar
in everything,
dispuesto a
and we have
entender
to
que
be
va a haber
willing
consecuencias.
to see those consequences.
¿No? Y no siempre la persona va a querer aceptar.
And that person won't always be willing to
Si lo
accept those
acepta, qué bueno.
consequences. If they do, that's great.
Pero es un peligro siempre.
But there's always a danger.
Porque es muy probable que te jalen.
It's
que tú lo
possible they
jales.
pull you out, or
Pero
they
si
pull
tú
you
lo
from.
puedes jalar
Now, if you can pull them,
y que entre y dé su vida
and
a
you
Cristo,
let them give their life to
te
Christ,
ganas un alma para Cristo.
that means you earned a soul for
Eso es
Christ.
bueno.
That's good.
Pero estás jugando con algo
But
bien
you are
precioso,
playing with something very
que es
precious,
tu salvación.
which is your
Por eso
salvation.
se ve que no lo tengamos en poco.
That's why the Bible says don't keep that to
Por
little.
eso la Biblia aconseja que no te
That's-
unas con
That's why
alguien
the
así.
Bible recommends you don't marry
Aunque sea
someone
una
who
persona muy
isn't.
buena,
Even if the person is a
no
good
tiene el
person,
conocimiento que tú tienes.
they don't have the knowledge you
Sí lo
have.
puedes jalar,
You can pull them, of course,
pero ¿qué tal si no?
but what if you can't?
Entonces ahí está.
So
Yeah.
¿Sí me
that
entiendes? Hay un
You get me?
peligro
there's a danger
que no quisiéramos
That
que nadie
we
pasara.
wouldn't want anyone to experience.
Pero si alguien lo pasa,
But if someone does go through
hay
it,
que tratar de pelearlo.
we should try to fight through it.
Pero no deberíamos de estar así.
But we shouldn't be in that
¿Me
way.
entiendes?
You get
Valerie?
me? Does that make sense?
I think it's also like you choose your battles, and that's a really hard battle, you know.
Ya,
Whether you,
es difícil.
you know, God
It's
does give
difficult.
us, does allow us, you know, free will, and if that's a battle you want to take on, I think it's like more you have to be like, you know, really in touch with who you are in God, because that's just gonna come with like frustration. Take it from myself, you know, it comes with frustration. You start to get like bitter, you know, a lot of doubt, and it all, you know, you start to not focus on your ministry anymore because you're like, God, you know, I just want this person, I just want this thing, and it's kind of like you know, take it from like literally myself, like in my old church, it was like a big focus, but like, you know, obviously same thing. I had 8 years with someone, I had, you know, good person, but I think it is beautiful to see like, I believe God could do anything, you know, I do believe that, but it's beautiful to see God's like, I'm gonna give you the choice, but you have to see the fruit of everything. You know, whatever you're praying for and whatever, you know, you're believing God for, if it, at the end of the day, you have frustration and you're starting to grow like super weary and you're not paying attention to everything else God is trying to do, I think that's how you get to discern of like, you know what, God, this probably, like, I love this person, but you know, at the end of the day, this is probably not for me, because what is the fruit of it? You know, I'm now, you know, feeling all these things, I'm getting depressed, and
A
I'm
veces
Sometimes
tienes mucho que perder.
you have much to lose.
Yeah,
¿No? Entonces
exactly.
hay un punto donde tú tienes que ver,
So there's a point where you have to see,
¿me aviento o no me aviento?
should I go for it or should I not?
Y tienes que poner todo en una balanza.
And you need to set yourself at a balance.
Y ser inteligente en esto.
And you have to be intelligent about this.
No me voy a meter en eso.
You know, I'm not going to get
Y
involved
casi
with this.
siempre cuando haces
And
eso,
almost always when you do that,
cierras esa puerta,
you close that door,
Dios te abre otra rápido.
God opens another
Y
one
la persona que tú
rapid.
querías,
And the person you wanted
mejorada,
is that person but improved.
¿no?
Yeah, it's like
Cuando eres
don't wait
fiel con-
for it. Like you get me? I feel like don't put yourself on hold. If that's what you want, your desire, like, you know, God, I'm gonna fast for this person, I'm gonna pray. God could do it. I believe God could do anything if it is in His will. You know, that's how much He loves us. But it's also like I think He tests us in that, as in like, well, what are you gonna do while you wait? You know, don't just wait until I bring you this person for you to be like, yeah, like everything is good. You know, like start within yourself and then. Because I feel like that's a beautiful thing. Like if He does it, I'm good because I was working on myself. And then if He does do it, it's good because I was working on myself and now I have, you know, this also person. So I think it falls in with that balance of like you have to truly like be willing to deal with that battle because it sounds beautiful. Like, oh yeah, you know, I prayed for this man and I loved him and he's here. But what is you know, there's so much ugly behind that. There's so much suffering silently. And then, you know, it's kind of like, is your relationship with God that
That's why
great
en el,
within yourself?
en el noviazgo
That's why in dating,
vas conociendo como
you
es.
come to know that
Es cuando
person.
dices, no, mejor
That's
no
why
voy
when
a
you
dejar.
say, you know what, maybe not.
¿No?
And also how strong you are in the walk of God.
Yes.
Because you can always say like, oh, it's okay, like I can change him. Like a lot of people always like, I can change him, I can change her. But how strong are you in God to be able to go through those battles with
En primer
him?
lugar, si eres fuerte en Dios,
First of all, if you're strong in God,
no vas a meterte en esa
Yeah.
you won't get
That's
involved
why-
in that position.
that's
No
why
vas a
people-
decir,
You won't
I
say,
can change, no.
I can
That's why
change him.
people think that, and then they're like, obviously they know better that they, you know, like God has a purpose for you, and God has a purpose for that person. If that person is not in church, why are you gonna seek them?
It's
And
just hard when you're already involved.
Yeah.
So I could get her like when you already have been with someone and you're already in love with them, and then you choose. We have a choice. So I had a choice like, God, I'd rather take this and leave my ex.
Yeah.
So obviously once I went to my encounter, I knew like I gave him time. Like if you don't come, then you know this is what.
Pero eso es diferente.
But that's different.
Tú ya vienes con una relación
You
de
already
afuera.
come with a relationship
No,
from the
yeah,
outside.
that's what I'm
¿Entiendes?
saying.
You get-
Like,
Entonces,
I understand
ahí
your point.
es really hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard there.
Porque vienes con algo ya de afuera.
Because you're coming with something
No
from the
es de
outside.
que, no es de que estás en la iglesia
It's not like you're in church
y de repente alguien llegó y te está
and
sacando de
suddenly
la
comes
iglesia.
and they're bringing you out of
No,
church.
tú vienes de afuera
You come from the
hacia
outside
adentro con alguien.
and you enter with
Ya
wanting
vienes con
someone.
una relación.
You come with a relationship already.
Ahí es donde es algo bien.
That's where it's something very.
Una guerra que vas
That's
a
a
tener
war that you're
dentro.
going to fight.
No, y es hard to fight that kind of fight.
It's hard to fight that kind of fight.
Pero
Kind of
gracias a
good.
Dios. Este
Yeah. No, yeah. So it's like mainly like I get where Cosita's coming from because it's kind of like you're going against yourself. It's like God, I want what you have for me, but like your little heart that you love someone. It's like, but I wanted this. But it's ultimately like God's will, and you have to learn to accept whether He says yes or He says no. And sometimes waiting, like I said, it's how you feel in the waiting. If you're getting bitter in the waiting and you're getting all these things, that's your fruit, and you should know God doesn't give you that.
Check it.
Everybody's gonna turn the camera. We need another camera for behind the scenes.
Me hubiera volteado para allá la cámara.
For behind
Ahí está.
He was. Man, how did we get in there?
Ya, no, entramos en un cambio bien diferente.
Yeah.
Estamos hablando del
I didn't
tiempo
mean
de
to get
Dios.
emotional.
Breaking is,
No, but I mean, it relates. It applies to the
Yeah.
preachings, I suppose.
has to
¿Qué
change.
vas a preguntar? Ya terminó. Ok. Ok, seguimos.
Pues seguimos.
I was gonna say, do we have time to?
Mano Juan dice, hay una canción que se llama no, what is it? Tuntún.
Turn, la cantan los birds que hablan precisamente que todo tiene su tiempo bajo Dios.
Dice Juanito.
Amén, Mano Juan, amén. So I guess, yeah, just la hora. So we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you, Pastor. We talked about it a little bit. I don't know how. That was 20 minutes talking about
Vamos a tratar de hablar la semana que viene de ese tema.
We're gonna try to
Yes.
talk about that subject the coming
del
week.
tiempo de Dios, ¿no?
The
El
timing of
tiempo de
God.
Dios, el tiempo del
Timing.
hombre, ¿no?
God's timing, man's
Yes.
timing.
A ver, el tiempo de Dios, ¿cuál es?
What is God's timing? Kairos.
¿Y el
Man's
hombre?
time? Chronos.
Chronos. What are those spelled with?
Kairos with a K-I.
Good, I got it right. Sorry,
Chronos
I was
K.
like,
Esta clase es bien importante
That class is very important
porque
because
es diferente vivir en tu tiempo
it's different to live in your timing
y vivir el tiempo de Dios.
and to live in God's
yeah,
timing.
that one hit
Y
me.
parece que es igual,
And it seems that it's similar,
pero no es igual.
but it's
Cuando
not.
estás en el tiempo de Dios,
If you're in God's
no
time,
vas a tener frustración.
you won't have frustration.
Cuando estás en tu tiempo,
When you're in your
te
time,
vas a cansar.
you will become
Period,
exhausted.
Pastor. You gonna preach about that again on Sunday?
Let's go
You
another
doing a
hour.
series or
Es
no?
que, ¿sabes qué?
It's because you know
La
what?
clase que di ahora,
The class I gave
el
yesterday,
domingo, es muy extensa
it's very extensive,
que ni siquiera empecé.
and I didn't even begin to get into
Nomás
it.
empecé a dar la introducción
I just gave the introduction
ya para que supiéramos de qué
so
trata.
that we would know
Y
what it's
miré que
about.
muchos
and what-
estaban como,
And
dije no, mejor aquí lo
you
voy
know,
a
and
dejar,
many were thinking, okay, you know what, let's just stop here
porque no me estaban entendiendo
because
muy
they
bien.
weren't
Unos sí.
comprehending. Some did,
No, pero la mayoría no,
but a
no miraba que
majority,
estaban
the
como-
people looked like they were a bit lost.
Sentí que me decían, no sé de qué
I
me
felt like
estás
they were
hablando.
saying, I have no idea what you're talking
Entonces no
about.
entré a ningún punto,
So
son
I
como
didn't
8 o 9
really-
puntos.
There were about 8 or 9 bullet
Y
points.
no hablé de ninguno.
I didn't speak of any of them.
Nomás hablé la parte básica.
I just talked about the most basic
So,
portion.
voy a tratar de hacerlo lo más simple que
So I'm
pueda
going to try to simplify it as much as possible
para poder que me lo puedan entender.
so that people can understand it,
Porque es importante saber
because it's important to know
cuándo es el tiempo de Dios,
what God's timing looks
cuándo
like.
tienes que meter a
You know, when you have to enter.
Lo que sucedió
What happened
en el tiempo de Dios
in God's timing,
ya sucedió en nuestro tiempo.
it happened in our time already.
Y, no tenemos, y si no nos metimos al tiempo de Dios,
And if we didn't enter into God's
estamos
timing,
batallando algo que Dios ya
and we're
terminó.
struggling with something that God already did.
Estamos batallando algo que Dios ya dijo,
We're struggling with something that God already spoke,
que no pudimos entrar al tiempo.
and we couldn't enter appropriately.
So, vamos a explicar un poco más.
So we will explain it in
I
more
loved
depth.
it.
¿Ok? Ahora,
Now,
en el Cronos, en el tiempo del
in
hombre,
the Chronos, man's time,
es el lugar
that is the place
donde te subes al tiempo de
where
Dios.
you enter into God's time.
Tenemos que estar en el Cronos
We have to be in the Chronos
para poder subirnos al tiempo de
to
Dios.
be able to step up to God's timing.
Y es donde a veces nos quedamos tanto tiempo en el tiempo del hombre
Oftentimes we stay stuck in man's
que no
time,
nos queremos subir al tiempo.
and we no longer want to step onto God's
No
time.
queremos nosotros dejar ir lo que
We
sentimos.
don't want to let go of what we feel,
Y ahí es donde estamos batallando.
and that's where we begin to struggle.
So, vamos a hablar de eso
So we're going to talk about
un poco
that
más para
a
los
little bit more next week.
Remind me of the movie Interstellar.
I didn't get it. I watched it when I was like 14.
Like, so many like times been out there. So yeah, well, thank you, Pastor. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mallory, for for helping on the conversation. Lydia, thank you. Napoito, thank you for sleeping.
For resting in the Lord.
Resting in the Chronos.
He really took it. He really took it.
And thank you, B, again for everything. And thank you, Christina. I don't know how long you're gonna be here for, but thank you for now. And Asa, thank you for coming all the way from the hood. Charlie, thank you for coming from the skate park.
I didn't even go today.
Thank you for coming from the kids.
Offensive.
I hope to the end of the month, relax, God.
Tomorrow we have Mega Cell at
Tomorrow?
7:30 here. Invite everybody that you can invite. And then Friday we have our service at 7:30. Invite people as well. And thank you. And Sundays at 2:30. At 2:30. My bad. 2 o'clock. So tomorrow Mega Cell and Friday.
Acuérdate, el 30
Remember, on the 30th,
tenemos el
we have our
aniversario
anniversary,
y vamos a tener comida.
and we will have food.
Tráete a toda tu familia.
Bring your whole family.
Va a ser gratis la
The
comida.
food will be free.
So, lo esperamos a todos a las 2 de la tarde.
We expect to see you at 2 p.m.
Vamos a pasar buen tiempo.
and we will have a good time.
Okay.
And pastors, they have he has cell group on Thursdays through Zoom. That's for now. It might be changing later on, but for now, it's Zoom on Thursdays at 7:30. If you would like to connect, text Pastor and he'll text you the link for the Zoom. All right. Anything else, guys?
Be there, be square. Remember to
All right.
like,
Remember, subscribe.
hit the notification
Leave a
bell.
like for a
How to
cookie.
like connect.
Hit the notification bell and share this with all your friends.
Thank you. Shout out to Mano Juan, Bree, Myron was there, Pasora.
Myron.
Tanya Reyes. And thank you guys. Have a good Monday. Have a good week. See you guys tomorrow.
You playing
Bye.
Minecraft.
See you.
I like it, cut G.
Sponsored by Canada.